I now invite Ms. MériemDehbiTalbot to take a seat at the petitioner's table. You have the floor, Madam. Is this person here?
My name is MériemDehbiTalbot, and I'm a French-Canadian filmmaker. I'm currently working on a documentary called Running Home, which follows a daughter's journey to find her roots in the Sahrawi refugee camp in Algeria. Like most of the rest of the world, a couple of months ago, I barely knew the existence of Western Sahara. And yet, I am myself an Algerian descent, and I had no idea of the thousands of Sahrawi stories the Algerian desert was currently holding. I was only vaguely aware of the existence of a territory between Morocco and Algeria that was claiming its independence. That's it. I want to emphasize on the word vaguely because I think it reflects pretty well how we, North Americans, understand and want to educate ourselves regarding the current situation in Western Sahara. We vaguely know about it, we vaguely want to know more about it, and we vaguely seem to care about it. I, for example, didn't know that more than 100,000 Sahrawi people escaped a war 40 years ago and are still living today as refugees. And I didn't know that most Sahrawis who are still living in the occupied territory today are treated as second-class citizens by the Moroccan authorities, deprived of their own freedom of speech, and often beating up if they dare sharing their own stories out loud. I didn't know all of this uncomfortable truth until my friend and colleague Michelle approached me to help her on a documentary she just finished filming in Smara, one of the 5 Sahrawi refugee camps. I didn't know all of this until I recently started to listen and talk to people who visited the camps. And I learned how they genuinely connected with the Sahrawi people, how they easily connected to each other's stories. Over the past couple of years, my line of documentary work has been mostly focused on human connections and how we use our stories, the one we have in ourselves, and the one we share together to connect to our own collective humanity. I choose to become a storyteller because I truly believe that each and single one of us have the stories inside our being that will help us live in a more fair world, a world with no wall, no camps, and no censorship. Unfortunately, today, many Sahrawi people can own the required tools needed to amplify their own stories. I'm currently editing over 50 hours of footage of Inma, our main character, as she enters into her first experience in the camp, reconnecting with a part of her own history. And what I found through her words and the Sahrawi people's words was extremely powerful. I didn't know that the pending promise of a referendum is magnifying the proud identity of the younger generation of Sahrawis. I didn't know that there's so much hope in the Sahrawi faces that that even the dryness of the camp can stop their eyes of always shining. And I didn't know that they have so much faith in the Free Sahara that every year they warmly host the world to run its dunes. I didn't know that their dreams of liberation could pierce walls, cross oceans, and deeply inspire the Canadian woman. I didn't know all of this, and now I do. The still small knowledge that I have collected of the Sahrawi people history, as little as it may seem, was sufficient to pierce my heart with compassion. Now that I know more, now that we know more, now that we acknowledge the fact that a lot of powerful institutions, countries have known and supported this for years, what do? We shed light on their stories, on their day-to-day battle towards freedom, on their suffering, dignity, and courage. I'm asking the UN today to give the Sahrawi people the tools they need and deserve to be able to share their own stories to the world. Stories of pain, stories of hardships, stories of hope, stories of love, and most importantly, aspiring and inspiring stories of people who finally will live in their free land. Merci de m'avoir écouté et bonne fin de journée.
I thank Ms. MériemDehbiTalbot for the information she has furnished to the committee. You may now withdraw.